Hello family, my name is Chris. I am your home gamer dad, and one of my easily top 5 favorite animated series of all time is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I sit down and I will watch that entire 3-season run at least once a year. I enjoy all the additional stuff that came from that. Korra is fun to watch. I like the video games, the comic books that extend the lore, just all kinds of great things, and of course, the board games as well. Within the past week or so, a board game that I've been following for what seems like months has finally gone live, and we have the details that we need for it to understand what the game is about, how it works mechanically and everything, and how it uses the IP of Avatar: The Last Airbender to give you an epic adventure of following Aang and his team throughout their journey to save their world. That's right, today I will be talking to you about why I backed Avatar: Journey of Aang by Bad Crow Games. So normally for me, when it comes to IPs that I enjoy, I like seeing how other media outlets interpret them, whether it be a TV show I like turned into a movie or live action series, or seeing it as a board game or other type of, video game or entertainment thing, just stuff like that. I enjoy seeing where it all goes, and I don't really consider myself too overprotective of it. There are some people that are real complete purists out there in terms of like how they see a show or a movie or whatever it is, and this is how they interpret it. So if it's not exactly that way, then they have issues with it. Avatar: The Last Airbender pretty much follows, whenever you see any type of like these board games or anything come out like that, they really try to push the fact that this is Avatar, this is Avatar, this is Avatar on the people, and then really pull in those fan base. And I've played games and, seen stuff that is like, all right, this is a cool game, but you can distinctly tell this is an Avatar skin on top of the game. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all, because, if you do it correctly and you present the source material in the right way and you really give the fans like a feeling of respect for the original source material, then it's all great. Avatar: Journey of Aang, from what I have played on it, and I've only been able to play this through Tabletop Simulator, and I'll talk about that a little bit better, is a real authentic experience in the world of Avatar, where the game itself, to me at least, doesn't feel like another game. Like, this was a game that was made for Avatar. Like, you're not going to find much else out there that you could slap on top of this game, reskinning it, whatever, and it feeling the same. Journey of Aang is specifically geared toward the story, the paths that the characters take, and, well, just to use it again, the journey from very beginning of like low-level powers within all of your elements, building them up and establishing, your strengths and your weaknesses before ultimately coming to the end and having the final confrontation with Fire Lord Ozai or Phoenix King, depending on how far into the game you are. Again, I've only experienced this game personally through Tabletop Simulator, which either in a few days of this going up, or maybe even right now, depending how long it is that you sit down and watch this, I will have a Tabletop Simulator showcase of me playing through Journey of Aang. Now, keep also in mind, not only that video, but this as well. I feel like that within the upcoming days, things are going to change, maybe not significantly, but enough to take notice. Like, the designers are all on the comment section for this Gamefound, and that is fantastic. You guys are doing an amazing job out there, responding to people, getting those answers, so showing that you're listening to all the feedback that we are giving you and all that. And there is talk that stuff is going to be changed and arranged and added and all that stuff. I'm, of course, filming this right now because I need to film it, edit it, and get this out in time. I have 100% sure that as I'm editing it, everything is going to change. So let's use this as a bit of a time capsule right now of where the Gamefound campaign is now, and hopefully where it will end up in the future. So why don't we head on over there right now, starting from the top, working our way down. We'll take a look at the game itself, the components, your pledge levels, your stretch goals, all of that fun stuff within the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender and the Journey of Aang. All right, here we are over on the Gamefound campaign. If this is something you're interested in or curious about or whatever, there is a link to this page down in the comment section below. So by all means, go ahead, click on that, jump on over, and you yourself can see what has changed between whenever I've made this video to whatever it is now. So here we are. We have a Journey of Aang by Bad Crow Games, a 1 to 4 player experience. Join forces taking on the role of Aang's companions. Each player will guide Aang in his journey to master water, earth, fire, and air, restore the balance of the world. That in its own right is a very accurate description of the game and is quite literal too. It's a guiding experience. You are not so much taking on the role of a single character. All the other Avatar games that I've played, or even just games in general that follow various IPs, they usually give you the option of saying, here, you get to play as X character. You play the main character, play a side character, play another character. You are that character throughout the game, the campaign, or whatever it is, and that's it. You use their abilities, their way in the world, things along that ways. For this, the companions, yes, each player gets their own companion, but you're still not playing as those characters. They are guides. They are helpful mentors that enable Aang to learn these elements all the way up to his final confrontation. Now, as of right now, and again, this is just, I'm just dating it as it is, we have 14 days left to go as of this recording, so it's going to be less when you go see it. 162,000. It reached its goal in 1 hour and 10 minutes. Congratulations, Brad Crow. That is amazing. And then the next thing that's going to pop up soon, I think tomorrow, is a new boss. And I'll talk about that. That was a really cool surprise when they dropped that. So I think that's going to make the game, that's going to give the game replayability, because one of my biggest concerns for this game was replayability. The way that the game works, and we're just going to kind of roll down here because I love this image of Aang in his avatar state, you know, like when he is about to fight Fire Lord Ozai, he kind of gets like all these elements swooshed around him and everything like that. As you can see right here with Momo sitting on a clock, 30 to 60 minutes to play the game, that's really not that long at all, and it isn't. Once you set up the game and get yourself rolling, the turns happen really fast. Everybody just takes one action, something happens, and then it moves on to the next character, and that's all it is. 1 to 4 players, I don't think there's it says 1 to 4 players, but I'm not seeing anything as far as a true solo mode goes. Maybe there is, maybe you just take 2 companions and you run off from there. All I've ever done with this game is have like 2-handed, where one character has 2 companions and then another character has 2 companions, and I just kind of bounce back and forth that way. But up to 4 can play. And then we have 8 and plus. I like how this guy has a little arrow. Good. Got a good little air nomad right there. That's fantastic. Everything, as you can see from what they rank it, and I do agree with this, is pretty much in the middle. It does lean slightly more towards a family style game. I don't know. I'd probably swing this a little bit closer to complex, just because some of the decisions that you have to make in the game really affect a lot of what it is that you do next. You're adjusting Aang's ability to use these elements, like at the end of a particular challenge, that you're like, all right, if I do this, I should be able to do that. Once you complete the first challenge, things adjust so much, you're like, oh, wait a minute, my math was wrong and stuff like that. So maybe I would push the complexity up a little bit. Definitely not competitive at all. This is 100% solo. I'd even like move this down a little bit closer to relaxing. Like the turns are smooth and they're quick, and it's just fun to watch things play out, that you're not really going to get into too much of a stressful moment until you reach the bottom third of your deck. And even then, it's like you can kind of predict what's coming anyway. Luck is pretty much where it needs to be. You can mitigate things quite a bit to decrease your luck, but ultimately, this is a dice rolling game. This element is a dice builder. You have a set of dice for Aang that you're changing and manipulating throughout the course of the game. So really what it is the better your dice pool is, the less luck you need, and the more strategy you should really go through to determine what challenges you need to take on first, or how far the map you need to go. I'm not sure if this image is old or new or whatever. Like, I believe that these up here are new, like new designs. But I think the Harmony cards here are on their own board now. Like regardless of anything, it has an interesting table presence because you have all the elements laid out, so you're kind of curious on what all that is. The map is gorgeous. Everything I've seen on this and everything looks amazing. I don't really play with neoprene mats at all. I like just the regular boards and everything like that. but I would get the neoprene map, frame it, and put it up on the wall regardless, because it just looks so beautiful. And to have a map of the Avatar world is amazing, especially with it have all of the different locations already pinged out on it, which is awesome. All right, so why back now? This is more for everyone out there that's a little bit undecided. And these were a lot of the reasons why I backed it as well, just kind of seeing it and, you know, running through the options of more than just payments and things along that ways. First off, automatically entered in weekly drawings, sketches, patches, t-shirts, blah, 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 blah. Of course, I'd love to win something. I'd love to win anything. Any one of these would be an awesome win, but it's still fun. It's fun to have your name in the hat and be able to, like, think at one point, hey, I'm going to get something cool out of this. Just an awesome piece of memorabilia, an awesome piece of extra add-on and whatever for the game that maybe you were going to buy at one point, but then you won it. So you're like, awesome, cool. So now I had a little bit extra. Maybe I'll buy something else, which is amazing. This is also a big thing. They have their Discord, Instagram, polls, comments, things like that. I mentioned it earlier on. The developers over at Bad Crow Games are in the comment section all the time. They're listening to people. They're hearing what you guys have to say and actually responding to it, so you know that they're hearing you. One of the big things that I've seen about this is getting a Polish language for it. They look like they are on top of that 100%, really pushing that out, because I'm sure that if they announce that, then we're just going to have a whole lot more backing to this for sure. And then this is kind of the one reason I love Gamefound over Kickstarter, are stretch pay. And this is what I have done as well. 5 payments as low as $9 per month. That is just for the standard edition. I backed the deluxe edition, so it's a little bit more, but rather than paying the whole thing right now, which I do not have, it's easier to pay it over installments. Thank you, Gamefound, for offering that. All right, let's talk about standard versus deluxe. And I'll go over what each of these costs in a little bit. What we're looking at here is, this is your standard version. This will be your deluxe version. And while I love both of these images, yes, the deluxe version is just, that's just so much more epic seeing that right there. And again, I love this as well. There is a push on the comment section, again, with the devs responding to it and acknowledging it, which is awesome, where the standard version could possibly have a sleeve that looks like this that goes over the box, just to give them a little bit something more cool to look at if they want to sleeve the box and everything like that. But yeah, the deluxe version will look like this, and I think that's really cool. Basically what you're going to get in both of the editions right here, standard cards, figures, things along that ways. The Appa figure does come in both boxes, and that there's a unique thing with that Appa figure, so keep that in mind as well. I think it is the only actual mini that comes with everything. Yeah, that's it. Deluxeifies, however, has a bigger adventure board. I believe it's double-sided too, so that's another really good thing if you want to have a game that has a little bit more longevity. Have a second side where things are a little bit different. Maybe the paths are different, or the challenges are different numbers. I don't really know what's on that other side. I forget. I think it was mentioned, but that's a great replayability thing. Dual layered boards, so they're thicker and just nicer, and they won't break and like collapse on you or whatever. Pegs, drawstring bags, always good. Great cards. Dice, the dice are changed between the standard and deluxe. They're deluxeified, I guess you can say, so they look pretty. Trackers, I think you're just wooden pieces in the deluxe as opposed to cardboard. Always a beautiful thing to have. And then the box itself has like all that other foil, stamp, thicker, blah, blah, you know, just making it all shiny and nice. All right, what's in the box? We will start with the standard edition, because the deluxe edition will pretty much have everything else that's there. You have your main adventure board. Again, I think this is going to change in the future. If not, then like, it's definitely a very different board than what's currently on TTS, like extremely different in terms of like path-wise and some of these like challenge points and things along that ways. Various dice, your avatar, starter. So avatar dice are the special dice that Aang can upgrade in. These are like really hard to get, but you can get them. Aang's starting dice. I don't know what this symbol is here. It shows all 4 elements, but I don't think that's part of the final product, unless they change it, because it should be one of each element, a wild, and then the 6th side is blank. This might be the blank side. I don't know. Well, again, I feel like a lot of these images here were from when the game was, it was just launched on Kickstarter. None of this has really changed. By the time you see this, this might not even exist anymore. It might be completely different images. But you have your starter dice, your water dice, your earth dice, your fire dice, your air dice. All of it is like, you'll be collecting these and like building them up throughout the course of the game. Appa as a figurine here, him flying on the cloud, he actually detaches from this because Appa moves forward and the cloud is your checkpoint on the map. So if he moves forward and completes a challenge, successfully completes it, the cloud will move up and join him. So then if you move forward again, if you lose, you get knocked back to wherever that cloud is. So it's just kind of a keep him where you are, a checkpoint of sorts as you go along. The comet tracker, where you would put the comet marker on the end and then whoosh all the way up here. Once it reaches this, then you fight Fire Lord Ozai. Companion cards, these are who you take into the game with you in order to give you additional dice and powers. The Harmony cards I think are really cool and unique in that they're squares, a little square card. So who knows what we're going to be sleeving these with. Each Harmony card has a different element, and on them you have various numbers on them and determining a level of training. If you're in the first stage of training, second stage, third stage, and you'll notice they are actually all different numbers for them. So each element has different powers depending on your level of training. And then by the time you're done with a Harmony card, not only do you gain a permanent mastery in that element, but the Harmony card can then be used in order to purchase other skills later. So I love the use. The player board, again, I believe has changed a lot on TTS. It's more of a vertical board, which I don't know if I like that better than, I think either way it works for me, but this right here where you would put your Harmony cards and they would rotate depending on what level of training you are, this has become a separate board. I'm pretty sure they're keeping that as a separate board as well. Just markers for the board. This, I don't remember if this is what they're keeping it as or is this the old version, but these are basically your training cards. A big thing that I mentioned within TTS is the skill level for challenges. Early in the game, when you're in like book 1 of sorts, or like that first little area, some of these challenges are a little bit high than they should be. Like this right here is High Bay at a 7, but this guy is also at a 7, but he comes later. So it's like, I feel like an earlier challenge, this needs to be adjusted down. 7 is probably good for a mid challenge. A late challenge at 11 or 10 is good as well. I'd probably make this 10 or 9, honestly. Again, another thing that has been pointed out several times within the comments, and they are going back and readjusting these values. I agree that they do need to come down a bit. Once I mentally brought them down, I was able to do more and feel like I've accomplished more in the game. I just think it makes for a better experience. Your marker bag and your player aids, which, it's one player aid. It's double-sided, technically. This is one side, that's the other. But I love player aids. Player aids are the best. And now we'll go through the deluxe edition. So you get your deluxe box. You have your game board, which is double-sided, thicker, reinforced, all that amazing stuff. Again, I'm not sure what the other side is. Maybe this and the other one look different. I got to compare them, but it's double-sided, which is great. This is all a wooden upgrade, dual layer and a wooden upgrade, which is awesome. This is dual layered. Your markers that you would track things are these like wooden markers here, which is pretty cool. Aang's Elemental Mastery. So I guess they're pegs that you move up instead of just being like little cubes. Again, all super deluxeified, making it look nice and fancy and just immersing yourself a little bit more into the game. Appa figure is exactly the same, but you can pay extra, for it to be a painted version. I may do that. I kind of like painted Appa as compared to normal Appa right here. Just because, again, I like that immersion to the game. Like, there's Appa flying around in all his glorious Sky Bison-y ways. The avatar, all the dice, again, as you can see, are a little bit more deluxeified. They're shiny. They're just, I don't even know, what was it? Marble. They're marble colored and everything like that, which is really cool. Challenge cards, they're a bit upgraded with a linen finish. Same thing for these. Yeah, that's really, again, the deluxe version, besides just adding a few extra things like the double-sided board and deluxeifying the elements, man, that bag looks so cool drawstring bag. Yeah, the upgrade is so much better for sure. Wooden markers, and then 2 companion coins that you would need in order whenever you upgrade a companion. So I personally think that the deluxe edition really is, personally for me, the way to go, because I like the bells and whistles that this adds to it. But if that doesn't mean anything for you, trust me, the standard edition works too. And just to go over pricing a little bit, we have the Deluxe edition at $79.99. This is the one that I ended up backing. This you would have $16 a month for stretch pay. And then the standard edition right here, $45. That is your $9 a month stretch pay. Now, in addition to that, we do have some stretch goals. There's not many. There's only 7 stretch goals right now, with 2 of them being like a day release. So this is the X day, it's released this day. This is, again, going to be very, very different, I feel, within the next few days. I just don't have time in the future, with Halloween being tomorrow and everything, to film something that I don't know is actually going to update within the next day or so. Again, it could literally happen the moment I'm starting to edit it and everything. But really what all this is just adding a few more cards. I like the new boss that approaches. I hope that this is going to be something, everyone wants the Melon Lord. I hope Melon Lord is it, because I think that would be hysterical if that was the case. But, you know, we'll have to see what happens. Alternate companion arts, which is interesting because Zhang actually isn't in the TTS version of the game. I did mention when I was playing it that Iroh, I didn't like him as a companion because it didn't make sense for him to be a companion when you're literally starting the game from beginning to end, from your time in the Southern Water Tribe all the way to the end. Iroh doesn't become an ally until like the second to last episode of it, and Zhang makes more sense. So that would be interesting if that was changed. So I like seeing that. And then non-bender companions. The game doesn't come with any non-bender companions. That is a separate expansion altogether. That's where you'll find Suki. That's where you'll find Sokka and all that other fun stuff. Yep, okay, there you go. Zuko. Zuko's not in the base game either, but I guess that makes more sense. We got some greetings from Omashu. Where is the little word bubble somewhere down here that just says my cabbages? That's something that should have been on that postcard. Some more trials. These are the various challenges and everything that you would see throughout your journey on the game. You don't have to accomplish these trials, but when you overcome them, you gain an amazing amount of rewards. Interesting how Boomi's Trials is a level 4 one, where that's like literally at the end of the game, but Boomi's Trials happens like actually in the middle of the Book of Water. So that's weird how that works. And then foil backs for your Harmony cards, making them all nice and shiny. But again, these are just things that are here now. I wonder what else, it makes me wonder what else is going to show up within the next few days. Got some various add-ons here. If you want a patch in order to put onto something, you got that there. You got your neoprene venture board, which again, get it and frame it and put it up, which would be awesome. This is your non-bender expansion right here. This currently has Sokka. It has Suki. It has, which is weird because Suki was a stretch goal too. Momo and, well, again, I could say that they have this, but this is just what I'm seeing again on Tabletop Simulator. Could be extremely different in the long run. So these are just those that are non-benders. The dice that come with this are very different as well. This you can't replace on any of Aang's dice with, but they do manipulate his dice to like duplicate his dice or give you free rerolls or things along that ways. If this will move, and then some metal coins, which I believe I got for free because I was an early follower of this campaign. So this is just more for an aesthetic and reminding you of like, you only have 2 chances in order to upgrade a companion's ability throughout the course of the game. You do have some gameplay videos that you can watch currently right now. Nothing with a physical copy yet, so just keep that in mind. We have a tutorial about generally how to play the game from Bad Crow Games. Fanatic previews. He did a run through as well on TTS. Co-op Guild did a live playthrough here with Bad Crow Games to like talk about the game, give some information, and walk through certain things about how the game is currently and what they're thinking of changing. So that is fascinating to watch as well. We'll come back to shipping in one moment. Video previews and reviews. Yeah, because I like looking at these just to kind of show you guys that there are things out there right now. Read Geek Dad's review here. Cool. That give other insight into the game, other thoughts, other comments, other questions, comments, concerns, things along that ways when it comes to Journey of Aang. That would be fun just to listen to and informative as well, because everybody wants to know exactly what they're getting into whenever they're purchasing these things and exactly what type of game it is. Is it something for them? Is it something they're going to see hit their table more and more, or just, you know, are you buying it because it's Avatar? Which for me, it started out buying it because it was Avatar. I just needed it because it was Avatar. But as I'm looking at it, as I'm seeing things go, I can definitely get behind a lot more about the game in terms of how it plays, the mechanics, the gameplay, and then the drive to save the world. And finally, shipping and taxes, everyone's favorite subject. Planning on getting the game starting to ship out October 2025, so a year from now. That's very much in the realms of possibility. Looks like it's going to be in 2 waves. English language first, and then all the other languages. As they start gaining more languages for this, I'm sure that'll be in the second wave going forward. And then, of course, shipping prices. Oh, goodness. Looking at these prices just hurts at times. And it's not their fault. You know, Bad Crow Games is like every other production company out there. You're doing your best to work with your shipping companies in order to get the best deal for the people buying the game. You lower the game price a little bit, the lower MSRP, in order to compensate for the shipping price. And some people look at that and they're like, well, why don't I just wait for it to come to retail? You can. You absolutely can. No one's saying that you need to get this immediately, but it does help in the long run, and you probably will get it before anybody else gets it. You know, you're seeing it on shelves at your friendly local game store and things along that way. So always keep that in mind as well. $20 for the deluxe edition is what I'll be paying, but it is what it is. I mean, like just 4 years ago, 5 years ago, this probably would have been $30, $35. So I know that shipping prices have come down over the past few years. I'm hoping that they'll continue to come down just a little bit even more. If this was $15, I'd feel better, but I understand why it's not, and I'm okay with it and everything along that way. You know, everyone has their issues with shipping. Everyone sees it and has to really make the decision. This is a big decision for backing any game. Will paying the shipping actually be worth it? Are you going to be paying more than what the game would be worth to you, or more than what the game is MSRP, or something along that way? So just keep an eye on this. This is a very important factor in all Kickstarters out there, not just this one. And, you know, just it is what it is depending on where you are in the world. These are not the worst. Like, around the world and everything, unless you get to the bottom 3 here, but these, like in the middle here, you know, the United States all the way down, China, Hong Kong, I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse, especially with Australia and New Zealand, $25 and $28 for shipping. I've seen this in like 60, 70 bucks for games around this size. So it's not the worst. It always could be better, but it is a factor regardless. So there you have it. Avatar Journey of Aang from Bad Crow Game. What's interesting about this is, other than the videos, there was no how to play segment to this campaign. It was just what's in the box, what are, you know, some of your stretch goals, and like a few other bits of information. If you are curious about how to play this game, not only are the videos on this going to help you, but as I said, within like 2 days of this going up, or you know, maybe less depending on when it is, or if you're a Patreon member or a YouTube member, that's actually available. The video is actually available right now as well for you guys to check out. It'll be my playthrough of this game on Tabletop Simulator based off of whatever the current rules of the game are. I don't see them changing very much between now and when the game is released, but at least you can see the basic concept of the game. Like, what are you doing on a turn? You're moving from spot to spot, accomplishing challenges, moving around the world until you end up either getting to the Fire Lord early and fighting him, or waiting until the comet gets over the world and you have to fight the Phoenix Lord, who's a little bit stronger, of course. And along the way, what you're doing with Aang and his team, guiding them along. You're not, again, not playing as a singular character. You are kind of this third party overseeing force that determines what their actions and what their narratives are going to be within the game board itself, and the challenges and building up and things along that way. So I like that. I really think that is a cool concept of the game, because every time you play it, you're going to build Aang a different way. You're going to build his dice pool a different way, and you're going to come across all types of different challenges too. Thank you guys once again for joining me as I go through Journey of Aang. Let me know what you think of this down in the comment section below. Is this something that you have been looking forward to, or maybe you have it saved on your Gamefound? Are you an Avatar fan? Are you interested in this game? I know there have been a few out. I am currently playing one on the channel right now. I do know there's also that other book-based one as well. I do have a few pet peeves here and there with the game in terms of when stuff appears in your journey. Just for example, and this actually happens with the Aang's Destiny that I'm playing right now. General Zhao. Everyone loves General Zhao and everything, but he only appears in book 1. He only appears in the water book. For him to appear anything past that just doesn't make sense. This isn't Korra. We won't see him again until a long, long time. he's gone at the end of the Book of Water. So his encounter should have only been in Book of Water. But again, that's just a little pet peeve of mine as someone who's a big fan of the game, and just, if you're telling me that this has to be fully thematic, then there's just small little things like that that I might nitpick at just because it's in my brain. Doesn't make or break it altogether. Absolutely not. I'm still going to enjoy this. I'm still going to get this. I'm still going to have fun experiencing this game over and over again. I'm curious on what the new boss, I think there's supposed to be 2 bosses actually coming out by the time this ends, which is going to be really awesome. Maybe be the Ember Island one. Ooh, that's fun. You know, between this and Aang's Destiny and other Avatar things that I'm seeing out there, you can expect to see a lot of Avatar stuff showing up on this channel eventually. That means in order not to miss that or any other fun videos I put out for you to enjoy, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad. If you wish to support the channel even further, there are ways to do that down in the description section below. Things like liking the video, commenting, sharing it, becoming a subscriber. The little things like that go a long way to helping the channel grow. But the big thing right now is using that link to the Gamefound, heading on over there and sharing that with anybody that may be interested in this game. Maybe someone doesn't even know this game exists. Just trying to get more eyes on the campaign, build it up that way, send it out there, a little bit more popular, things along that ways. And then just get as many people on this as possible, supporting it and like talking to the developers and developing the game to be something that we all would very, very much enjoy to play, especially as Avatar fans. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a good one. We'll see if this campaign has already changed now that I'm almost done editing this video. But until then, you guys take care. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together. Until next time, when I tell you why I backed another crowdfunding project, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you all later.